Very high voltage team called High Voltage.
Oh yes, definitely. One of the most experienced team coming out of Nepal. Last time we saw, they seem in a big of pickle situation because they heavily lagged in terms of their gun gameplay. But this time, with the addition and the incoming of Assassin, we are going to be seeing a lot different high voltage altogether.
Exactly, and he's not going to be alone. He has Extreme, Praveen to back him up as well. There's Waduji, a very well-known player from Nepal. So high voltage, all the things that were lacking the last time are fixed with the roster changes, or so it looks like on paper.
Oh yes, definitely. But I feel like somewhere down the line, towards the entry of the zone is where they lack a lot of confrontations. And this time, as we just talked about, a lot of roster changes. This time it is going to be putting them in a complete advantageous spot. So best of luck for high voltage for the upcoming PMPL.
Each new era needs new champions. But to become one needs to rise to the challenges. Persevere through failures. One needs to fuel the inner fire. PMPL South Asia Spring 2022. The dawn of new champions.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the PUBG Mobile Pro League South Asia Spring Season of 2022. This is Super Johnny, joined by Necro alongside with me. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure all of you are wondering like exactly what is going on right now. So let us inform you, like as you guys might have seen on the social media as the post was made, that due to some unforeseen technical difficulties on the third day of the previous Super Weekend, that was Super Weekend 2, a few matches are going to be redone. And that's what we're here for right now. And it's going to be one Erangel and one Sanhok that are going to be redone. So the teams that qualified for the second Super Weekend, we get to enjoy their action once again.
Exactly. I mean, just keep this in mind. There's only 2 more matches. That means, again, the teams that are all the way in the latter half of the board, they will have another glimmer of hope, Johnny.
Exactly. I mean, as you mentioned, the teams that were struggling the last week, I mean, if they messed up these particular games, especially, I mean, over here, I'm talking about the lads from TRZ because it wasn't really a good final day for them. Day number three is where they struggled the most. So it is their opportunity to secure some extra points with these two matches. If they can manage to finish in the top three in both of these games, that's going to be an extra chunk of points for them. But
Yeah.
along with that, I think this sort of gives us a little bit of a build up to what is going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow is the final super weekend of the league stages. The teams might change, a few of them are going to be the same, but tomorrow the league stages, well, the closing moments of the league stages will begin and we will
Yeah.
start heading towards the final.
Exactly. I mean, yesterday we pretty much saw the league play ending of the week 3 as well, and it
Yeah.
was an absolute utter chaos. Every single team, or especially the teams that were all the way on the top, they were just trying to go all in. They were trying to go all ham. Teams like Stalwart Esports, teams like Vibes as well. They had the pedal to the metal. They have amped
Yeah.
up their aggression, and in the week 3, that's what I'm expecting, even in the Super Weekend. But moving on in, currently we are again in the Super Weekend week 2 on day 3, and we're going to be covering the final 2 games. As Johnny mentioned, there were a couple of technical difficulties, and now that's why we're here again to cover those final 2 games again. And this is going to be a bit of rematch between
Yeah.
the teams. Now, last time the results were a bit different because of, again, as I mentioned, because of the technical difficulties. Now, again, coming inside, you never know, man, Johnny. Imagine a team like Savage would take a chicken dinner, and now in the overall rankings, they would be even in a much more safer hand.
I mean, exactly, and that is at the end of the day what it is all going to be about. But, ladies and gentlemen, since we are discussing the overall rankings and how this second chance for all these 16 teams is going to be super important, so let's have a look at the leaderboard as well as it is right now. We saw Seal Esports take the first position in the second week, just beating out Stalwart Esports. And as you mentioned, Necro Savage Esports, they bought themselves a little bit of a breathing room already, breaking into the top 7. They're sitting on the 7th position with 193 points. So if they manage to somehow capitalize on the 2 matches that are about to be played, maybe we're going to see them close in towards Train to Kill, who are in the top 5 right now. But you know what's exciting? Well, what's more exciting is going to be the second half of the leaderboard, where basically it's a fight for survival for a few of the names that are going to be playing right now.
Yeah, and again, if I'm not wrong, Phantom Esports, they haven't really made it in the top 16, right? Yesterday?
Yeah,
so
yeah, they
again,
did.
now this is going to be another chance for Phantom Esports to try and get themselves in even better shoes. Now they're currently in 10th spot. You never know. Maybe moving in forward in the upcoming Super Weekend of the week 3, Phantom Esports might just be pushed down to the latter half of the board, and that's something Phantom Esports would not want. So these 2 games are going to be really crucial for teams like Phantom Esports, ElementriX, and also teams like Raw.
Well, definitely, as you mentioned, Phantom Esports, ElementriX, Raw, who are also trying to find their way inside of the top 10 for now. But along with them, I think TRZ Esports, JyanMaara, these teams are also going to be eyeing the chicken dinner wins in these particular matches, because I mean TRZ, they haven't qualified this week as well, so it's super important that with these 2 games they get as many points as possible, so when the rest of the teams return, A1 Esports in particular, they at least struggle to think about challenging TRZ. Although 1952 to 7C Esports, I think these teams can still capitalize. 1952 are pretty much out of it, but 7C Esports will have an opportunity to secure a spot inside of the top 16 and make it to the finals. But ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned, the only 2 games from the Super Weekend will be played, and it's just the Erangel and the Sanhok. We'll be starting off with Erangel, and then the last game of the day is going to be on Sanhok.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be kicking things off with Erangel. Again, a classic map to kick things off with,
Yeah.
and then ending things on a way much more aggressive note, which is going to be a smaller map compared to Erangel. So things are, of course, going to be amped up quite a bit. Now, we did see a couple of these teams that are going to be playing today as well in the league play week 3, and pretty much every single team that is going to be playing in here, we saw them playing in the week 3, and it was like a completely different pace for them in the week.
Yeah,
3.
I mean, it
So
was a
moving on
completely
in-
different pace.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. All I wanted to say was just like moving on in now in this one too. They're also going to have that little bit of aggressive mindset with today. So I feel like we might see a bit much more aggressive games. I'm not sure.
I mean, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say the exact same thing, that today I think the teams will definitely be a little bit more aggressive. And the reason being, there's only 2 matches to play. They don't have to worry about a whole lot of other maps and other games. But that also brings to question that the teams are struggling. Well, they are going to be a little bit more cautious about what sort of situation they put themselves in, what sort of fights they're going to decide to take inside of the game. Because again, for them, it's just the two matches, and if they mess up these two matches, then their opportunity is gone. For teams like TRZs who haven't qualified for the final week, it's just these two Super Weekend matches that they have been given an opportunity to redo. Otherwise, their Super Weekend journey is already done. But ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any further time, we're about to begin the actual PMPL match. But along with that, our little own mini game has also begun, and I think nothing out of the ordinary today. Everyone is just focused in on the two matches that they have to play now.
Exactly. As you take a look at the player camps too, and every single player now is going to just be locked and ready. And as we talked about, teams like Phantom especially, they're going to have a huge pressure in these two games. These are going to be like the pressure games for Phantom, because in the Super Weekend Week 3, Phantom, they haven't really qualified. Now, the final two glimmers of hope for Phantom Esports to make it to the grand final. Are they going to make it happen? That's what I want to find out.
Well, let's see what the end result is going to be like. But oh, look at this, the trajectory of the plane. It's starting from somewhere around Lipovka and going towards the military island, leaning heavily towards the southern part of the map, ladies and gentlemen. And we all know what that means. I mean, the teams that are headed, who decide to head towards the northern side of the map, playing from the Georgia Pole areas, they're going to be in a little bit of a pickle right now. And namely, Raw Esports, IHC. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what start will these teams have. On the other side, Stalwart Esports, Stalwart Esports, the two teams sitting at the top of the overall leaderboard, they're going to be the happiest of the bunch.
Yeah, exactly. Savage, they're not going to have that tough of a time to get to their designated drop spot. It's Yasna Poliana. IT as well now, they're probably going to be going to their old school drop location, which is going to be Shelter. Dax as well in the Milton Power area. DRS right next to him. JyanMaara will, of course, stick to Lipovka. Now, two of the teams that I'm really going to be eyeing out for has to be Seal and Stalwart Esports. Now, you guys would say in the chat, that's nothing really special, right? Everyone has their eyes locked on these two teams, but why I'm really eyeing out for these teams is that they have the other team's fate in their hands. If they want, they can destroy a team's game, and if they want, they can even target teams like Dax. If they want, they can also target teams like TRZ and make their life even more miserable.
But let's see what the actual game plan is going to be for the team, as well, the circle is in front of us, centered around the Shelter area, and IHC, they're smack in the center of the circle for now, though. I mean, we still have to see if they decide to move towards Georgia Pole and, well, play the slow game that we have seen them play in the recent days. On the other side, the early drop collisions, I think it's just the lads from Vibes who are in sort of a very tricky situation, but even they will have an opportunity to get away. Deadeyes Guys, High Voltage, and T2K seem to have dropped together, so it's going to be quite interesting to see if once again we're going to see an early fight. The last time this happened, High Voltage almost went on to wipe out the players from Deadeyes Guys. And even though Deadeyes Guys lost 3 players in that match, they finished 3rd, mind you. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly what these 3 teams will decide. But it looks like T2K have gotten away with it, and they have disengaged, like gotten a little bit of distance between them and their neighbors. What will the other teams do?
What will the other teams do? That's a question that I'm wondering too. I mean, you know what, Johnny?
Yeah.
We already know what are the results of the League Play 3, and this is something that's even making things even much more exciting.
Exactly.
Because we know there are a couple of teams that are going to be struggling even harder in the Week 3, and these 2 games are just the last glimmer of hope for them.
Exactly. And I think that is the reason that some of the teams that, as you mentioned, who haven't made it to this final Super Weekend, we are going to see them... Well, we're going to see them under a lot of pressure. And we know, I mean, some of the biggest names also do tend to crumble under pressure. But T2K on our screens and Sandesh, it seems like, has taken a lot of damage, is already super low.
And not just that, Johnny. In the League Play 3, even Raw did not qualify. So Raw and Phantom Esports, and 1959 here too. But Raw, Phantom Esports, 1952, and TRZ were the 4 teams that did not qualify for the Week 3. And for Raw and Phantom Esports, they will have to go all in. This game is going to mean their lifeline. If they do not really do that great in these 2 games, then we might as well just count them out the entire Grand Finals, because this is their final chance, as we talked about it, the last glimmer of hope for them. TDK Sandesh is already taken down quite low. But I think so he should be able to patch himself up. Don't exactly know the reason why he's so low, but again, it doesn't really seem like the area that they're in. It's contested by anyone else.
Well, let's see. Savage Esports on our screens have managed to find their way towards Yasnaya Poliana, and we all know, I mean, in situations like these, they are pretty much quite isolated in the early game stages, so we won't see them be a part of any action up until the mid-game point, and it's only been 5 minutes inside the match, so again, since all the teams have had their preferable drops, I don't think the early game situation is going to be as intense as we want it to be. High Voltage have taken easy control of school apartments. We saw Wives moving in from the southern side towards the Water City as well. So they're going to be starting their early game loot stage as well in a few short moments. But along with that, I mean, just the circle being towards the eastern part of the map, a lot of the fights could break out in the next 5 minutes when Esports, Stalwart Esports decide to cross over, specifically with the players of DRS. I mean, we've seen Stalwart Esports collide against them again and again, but look at rules. It looks like Yante knows exactly where this player from DRS is.
Exactly, and if you talk about Savage, they're currently sitting on 7th spot in the overall rankings. Right underneath them is DRS, and then Skylightz Gaming as well is following them. Dax, they do hear a couple of gunshots in the front. Don't exactly know if they want to take any actions against it or not. For now, they're just holding their triggers, not really revealing their position. Skylightz Gaming, too, taking things quite slow. Not really trying to amp the aggression up. And so far, we haven't really seen any bodies hit the deck. I mean, things have been taken quite slow, and every single team in the lobby, I mean, it seems like they have realized the depth of the situation. Now I'm just waiting for Seal and Stalwart Esports to leave this area of the military island and just try and go on in and just spoil someone's game.
Well, let's see exactly when do Stalwart Esports decide to do that. I think they have already started to move towards the Novorepnoy Bridge, but for now it's just Dax against DRS, and hey, someone started shooting. It was Gyante, I believe. No, not Gyante. Someone from his team, though, just taking those single tap shots towards Rules, but none of them managed to connect. Rules being extremely careful in this situation. Moving forward, I think this is also one of those fights that is inevitable for either of these teams in a circle like this, but DRS, they need to be extremely careful about this, because looking at the map, it looks like TRZ have started to close in on their position as well.
As the great Thanos said, I am inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they're just trying to slow it down for these teams. 7 minutes in, still no action, and Rules just going on top of the rock again and again, just trying to see if he can keep a track of where the opposition might be.
And so far, I mean, he's able to hear the general direction of where the shots are coming from, but he hasn't really spotted like an actual player in front of him. He's just waiting for the actual visual confirmation. As soon as he gets that, I'm pretty sure he'll probably try and pepper some shots down in the front. But so far in the lobby, we aren't really seeing anything happen. IC2 is right there near the shelter area. They're taking things quite slow. IC now, they don't really need to move from here. They're right in the smack center of the map. CO2 now, they're finally going to start to make a move from the left island. That means teams like ElementriX will now need to watch out.
Well, let's see. I mean, a massive cluster forming towards the prison, shelter, mansion positions. IHC still smack in the center, but so far they have managed to be completely isolated. Onto the southern side towards farms, they have High Voltage and TRZ just waiting for a hint of where their preyers are going to be. And DRS, their positioning is also quite interesting. Look at that 3-1 split. Rules present towards Dax, and the other three players just watching the Milta City about to be a part of some action, at least since Stalwart Esports seem to have crossed over, and they're holding the compounds quite close to the Novorepnoy Bridge. On the other side, the ElementriX and Seal Esports, look at them on the edge of the circle, right up against each other. Maybe a
Yeah.
fight is about to break out.
I mean, I literally talked about this like a while
Yeah.
ago. These two teams are going to clash, and that's what exactly happens. ElementriX trying to hold Seal off at bay, but they're finally going to engage into a fight. Seal, they do get a couple of line of sights on the players of ElementriX, and they're actually able to get the first blood through. It's going to be Demo to let the water or to open the floodgates for his team. And ElementriX pretty much being unsuccessful in trying to stop the entire push or the entire horde of Seal. But there are a couple of players of ElementriX coming even from the back, from the blue. So Seal, they will have a bit much more threat to try and worry about. The threat is still lingering on top of their heads, and Seal, you better start moving. Because if you're not, you need to position yourself in a better spot in the next zone.
Let's see. I mean, Seal Esports, as you mentioned, priority is going to be to position themselves to find some cover so that when the circle shifts, they don't have to deal with a lot of pressure of moving around and taking those fights at the same time. Skylightz Gaming on the other side have taken control of the Potato Hill and will be able to, well, at least keep a vision of the players from ElementriX rotating around from the hill. And Stalwart Esports, although, have spotted out TRZ. A few shots being taken, but none of them connect.
And Stalwart Esports. TRZ in the front. We talked about some of the big teams just trying to spot someone's hopes and dreams, and that's what Stalwart Esports are trying to do here. TRZ in the front. TRZ is one of those teams that's quite vulnerable, and they haven't even qualified in the week 3. So these two games are definitely going to mean quite a lot to them. But again, it's next to impossible for TRZ to pull off an insane performance and keep that position going for them, unless they just win 2 chicken dinners back-to-back with some insane amount of elimination points. And then maybe we can just book our bets and say that TRZ are not going to be knocked out of the top 16, and we'll be able to see them in the grand finals. But so far, that's not the case. TRZ, they're currently in the 15th spot with 86 points in their bank. And how are they going to try to nail that spot down? That's something they're going to figure out in these 2 games.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy for them, especially now since Stalwart Esports know exactly where they have to shoot. But look at this, ElementriX. They see the lads from Seal Esports rotating, moving towards the high ground. A few shots being taken, but Orange was brought down to around 40 HP in that trade. ElementriX, they have to be extremely careful about this, but they've moved quite deep inside the circle, so rotating towards the next zone is not going to be too difficult for them. And Stalwart Esports, what is this? Are they trying to go for a flank? No, they are disengaging from the fight, moving further away towards the farm area, and it's not going to be easy. Mad Cat taking 2 shots, action almost getting taken out. Does manage to get away as Mad Cat has to go for a reload. Runs out of ammo in that clip, and while all this was happening, Scribe was just waiting for Mad Cat to step out in the open, just inside that house, still holding his position.
Yeah, 14 is not going to step out of that. The Stalwart Esports action was taken down quite low, so the rest of the players as well, they're not going to start a book in. Taking their sweet little distance, having that social distancing between them. Top of the great positioning on top of this house. Every single team in the lobby currently, they're just waiting for the next circle shift, and it's actually going to shift up north. Quite a drastic circle shift right here. All the teams on the right side, as you can see, it's a huge wave of vehicles moving in.
Well, it is a huge wave of vehicles, and I think High Voltage IHC, they have the perfect opportunity to be the gatekeepers to the zone, but they will have to take a lot of fights and absorb a lot of pressure for that. And look at DRS, they're moving towards the players of IHC. TRZ also closing in on their position, and IHC Alex blowing up the lads of DRS, just securing 2 eliminations in 1 spray. An impressive fight, but DRS, this is not done. TRZ coming with the 3rd party, and that's the first exit of this game, ladies and gentlemen. DRS getting eliminated super early in this matchup.
Yeah, they just got grouped on by 2 different teams. TRZ too, just joining the fray and taking advantage of the fact that they were also being hurt by IHC in the front. TRZ, easy cleanup for them right there. Take a look at the replay as well. This is how things really went down between the players of ElementriX. They try to hold them off at bay, but Seal, they just make it look like they own the entire map of Erangel, and they're not going to be stopped anytime soon. You take a look at elimination leaders. Currently on the top is Top from the side of Stalwart Esports on 94 eliminations, and then you have Action with 90 eliminations to follow it up. And then Seal, the rest 2 are right there. Volley and Demo. Volley and Demo, this deadly duo. from Seal is making wonders currently.
Well, yeah, definitely.
It's just pretty much like the top 5 are the Mongolians, and then the rest are like barely taken by any other South Asians.
I mean, there's just one South Asian lad in the top 10 right now, and it's been Joker from the side of Vibes, who has been very, very impressive with the level of aggression he plays with. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, as Manish is going to start shooting towards Pika from the Stalwart Esports squad. And oh, there go the tires. The buggy, it was out of control. Pika got out. Action is going to be there to rescue him out of perdition, but they do manage to get away. TRZ, they've put one vehicle out of commission in Stalwart Esports. How will they react to this?
Damn, he got on top of the vehicle so quickly too, right? He did not even stop the buggy. Instead, he just kept going, and then Pika just got on top of the buggy with his teammate pretty quickly. And TRZ, they're still left clueless. Maybe now they know a bit that there's no one behind the buggy anymore. But it's quite cool. TRZ, 3 players here. All 4 players are up and alive for this team. 15 teams alive so far in the lobby. DRS was one of those teams that got taken out quite early. Man, I'm quite worried for all these teams, man, especially teams like Phantom Esports, teams like Savage. I mean, not really Savage.
Yeah, Phantom and TRZ, I guess.
Yeah, Phantom, TRZ, and Raw, because Raw as well did not really make it in the 3rd Super Weekend. So these teams are going to have a heap load of pressure.
I mean, definitely, and they will have to make sure that they somehow manage to get the top 3 minimum in this match and the next one. But 15 minutes in, still 15 teams, 58 players still alive in this match. Joel with the M24 running in and out of the shack. They do know where the players from TRZ are, but I think IHC will try to see if they can backstab them while TRZ tries to push for the circle. On the other side, the Stalwart Esports up against the players of JyanMaara. Action, he knows where No Fear is, and No Fear is trying to close the distance, get towards the house. It's not going to be easy for him to survive this fight, since Cry is also there supporting his teammate. A lot of util is going to be tossed towards No Fear. Oh, he's been spotted out behind the walls. Cry with the nade can't take him down, and there's
oh my god!
He's instantly knocked out, but Cry, he's going to be traded out by Gunner. It's a knock and a finish. JyanMaara keeping the numbers quite even. That's 3v3 fight still.
The only reason why I said, oh my god, was those nades were placed so beautiful. One nade was on the right side of the wall, one nade was on the left side of the wall. Even if he decides to go on the right side nade will blow him, and even if he decides to go on the left side, the nade will take care of him anyways. Beautifully placed, a nice team communication play coming through from the side of Stalwart Esports, but still JyanMaara were able to slip away, and execution on their hands. Vibes and Skylightz Gaming going head to head. As Joker now has a little bit of a scar rail to work around with. He's also going to take out the tires of the vehicles in the front, making sure Skylightz Gaming, they're not going to have an easy way out of that compound.
Oh, but let's see. Pika right now, proned out, hiding behind a tree. The players from Vibes, they have him surrounded right now, and even though his teammates are present on the other side, they don't really have an option, any option of supporting him in this fight. It has to be Pika against the entirety of TRZ in this one. Tries to fall back, but they can take him out. On the other side, the top has managed to find a few knocks. They are looking to capitalize. Action is going to be knocked out in the trade. Seal Esports against High Voltage. 2 knocks secured. Leo with a nade. Can he find the 3rd as well? As Demo comes under heavy fire and is going to be knocked down along with Wally. Leo with a nade toss is going to dish out the damage, and the knock is going to be secured as well. High Voltage, only 1 lad remain, and the car was flipped as well. That's how aggressive this fight is. Assassin from behind the tree. A 1v2, and I see the backlines. Whoa!
Whoa! Icy! And now it's the entire squad of IC too. Just moving on in. They want to contest this compound as well, but Seal, they've now got a grip of that. Wally's the only man left alive, or scratch that. Wally will be back up on his feet. He was the only man knocked out. Leo too will now follow the fray up. Great opening found from the side of IC, and now they're just going to pinch the wounds on top of Seal. And so far, Wally's trying his best to fight back, but he will get reflexed on by Zol. A great retaliation frag and a great reply from his side too. Now it's all down to Baron, the final link alive on the squad of Seal.
Well, but let's see, Baron. If he can take this individual battle against Joel, then it's going to be a pretty much even situation between him and the last player from the side of IHC. Alex on the other side is getting a revive, and Baron runs into the blue to try and survive. That's not going to happen. I mean, the best you can do is just deny the point playing like this, but manages to get towards the buggy now. If he tries to go for a push towards IHC, it's going to be very difficult. The final first aid left. The boosters are running, but they're not going to be enough.
Yeah, the blue is also doing so much damage now. It's just chunking out damages. Baron luckily does not catch any bullets on himself. And Godless now, is he going to go for a Grand Theft and chase him? I don't think so. That's going to be the case for now. We're all right there in the front. TRZ again just proned out in the open. And the circle actually takes a nice curvebolic shift all the way on the right side. Savage, they're barely going to make it in on the edge of the zone, but they find themselves in lucky shoes right now. Man, I don't know how lucky you have to be Savage right now. They were all on the edge, and now the circle 2 just favors them. That's quite great. Not really completely, but they're still barely on the edge. They can try and think this out. They can try and sort stuff out if they want to make it inside the next circle, or at least in a better spot, because TDK currently, they have the prime spot with the high ground.
Well, let's see. Chante has this Rock 4 cover, but oh, Stalwart Esports getting taken out by the lads of Savage from the distance as they were too distracted with the fights. And look at what Dax is doing, just running around Spike, just driving around in that buggy, trying to see if he can secure extra points, finishing off JyanMaara. Finally, Dax have managed to eliminate the competition. One more is going to be out of contention. TRZ getting eliminated. Dax have secured 3 elimination points from this match already. And they're not looking to stop anytime soon, but Savage Esports, they do have a pretty solid position inside of the zone. Oh! What happened over here? Vibes getting absolutely destroyed by Skylightz Gaming.
Oh, they indeed are, and now top peeks out. And look at Mullik. Oh, great spray! Catches a player off guard. But then you have ElementriX too, all the way on the off guard. Or all the way in the off angle, just taking the final man down of Vibes. Mullik too will now follow up. And he will be eliminated. Savage with a great positioning so far. But if the circle takes a huge shift away from Savage, then the troubles will just keep on stacking on top of each other. And if got his eyes deadlocked on the top, and he's not going to let him get out of harm's way.
Well, let's see. Skylightz Gaming, they have managed to survive the assault from Vibes, and now looking forward to move further in this match. Top 7 team surviving, 22 players still left in the lobby, and Stalwart Esports top. He's the final player surviving for his team. Just healing behind that vehicle. Finally deciding to get up, but Neef, he knows where to shoot. Dishes out more damage than top can handle, and with that final headshot, does manage to secure the point for his team. So now finally down to the top 6, 20 players alive. Dax, Phantoms, Raw, Savage Esports. I mean, that's going to be the main fight right there. Zeol in a 1v2 takes down one, but Rig did the finish.
We talked about this. This game's going to be quite instrumental for Raw.
Yeah.
Means quite a lot too, but currently they're in a really dicey situation. And how are they going to get out of this? That's something what I'm wondering. Assault is going to move out in the open too. Steps out of the cover. Inflicts a bit of damage on the Galzin. Instantly repositions himself. But man, that got way too close for comfort. And now you have the players' attacks just inflicting pain and hurt on the players of Savage. A bit of distraction, a bit of separation. Well, now Savage will need to pay off. They will need to pay the price for such a mistake. Yera Ura too. This is something that I haven't really seen. AKM with the 4X.
Well, let's see. That is actually going to work out for him, but Skylightz Gaming on the other side coming under heavy fire from Phantom Esports. Yeta finding the first pick. Mr. Boro is going to be extremely low as well. Skylightz Gaming trying to survive, going behind the ridge to heal up, to go for the revives, but it's not going to be easy. Phantom Esports, they are putting up a lot of pressure on basically 2 different teams at the same time, and look at that, Raw capitalizing on the fact that Skylightz Gaming were a little injured. It's just one lad left standing, Mafia Ninja, and he's also in a 1v1 against Nemesis. If he gets hit once in the face, that's it for the team. But Eisenberg from Savage Esports, I think he's going to be next. Oh, the nade is right next to Chante. He steps out right in the nick of time survives, and Savage Esports are going to be shown the exit down to top 4, ladies and gentlemen. Just 13 players left. Dax present with all 4 players. Phantom Esports with all 4. Raw with just 3. And Skylightz Gaming just the final player left inside the match.
Savage still they make it to top 5. That's quite good.
Yeah.
The consistency is what they needed, and now they're pretty much trying to nail the spot down in the 7th place in the overall rankings. Skylightz Gaming will now also follow up. The 4th team to get eliminated from the lobby. Dax, look at the spread they have. It's a phenomenal placement coming through from the side of Dax. A nice proactive control inside the zone, and now it's just a nade parade from their side. Raw, they're going to be in the receiving end. As the nades won't stop coming in from the side of Dax, they just keep on raining, and the final man too will fall down eventually, as Assault will take it away from the lobby.
Well, let's see. Oh, Octopus, can you make anything happen from this position? And the answer is no. It's the final 2 teams, Phantom Esports and Dax. Gyante has been taken down. Phantom Esports, they have the cover, but they don't really have the zone. Dax have managed to find the edge of the circle for themselves. The US, it can't take a lot of damage. Octopus dishing out a few on the individuals of the side of Phantom Esports, but they do manage to get behind the ridge. Harame was left behind just to provide some suppressing fire for the team to move in. But Octopus, he was the solo defender in that spot and wasn't able to stop them in their tracks. Now Gyante is back on his feet, so Dax, they are prepared for this 4v4 final fight.
Harame too doing a great job, not really exposing himself. Dax, as you said, it's a 4-on-4 fight, but Harame, at this point, he's so out in the blue, or so outside the circle, it's going to be next to impossible for that man to try and retreat back in the zone. How is he going to do so unless there's a vehicle left for him? But that doesn't really seem the case so far. As I said, he will step out and he will be taken down instantly. Unfortunately, that smoke pathway not really working in his favor. Harame will be confirmed soon too, but it's going to be next to impossible to get the fallen man back up. Phantom Esports with 3 players up. Now it's a 3-on-4 situation. Dax, are they going to put the pedal to the metal? Nate's going to crawl in quite close. That toss was almost perfect. Yeta taken down solo. Mad Max there too in the front lines. And Dax, they're just looking to put the pressure on. Dax, they don't seem scared.
Well, Dax, they don't seem scared at all, but now with Yeta down on his feet, it's a 3v3 situation between the 2 teams. Harame has been finished off, making a 3v2. Vexy trying to take down Spike, but Spike manages to survive. Oh, this is not looking good for Phantoms, but they do retaliate, and I believe it's somewhere around a 1v1 situation. Now Mad Max is going to be there, finishing off Octopus. But it is Max's position compromised. Spike back on his feet. Is the final player left from the side of Dax, and Mad Max is going for a revive. If this nade connects, it's done and dusted. Necro, will it hit? It is being cooked at Slob. It's a bit short, but Yeta, he managed to survive. Now it's a 1v2.
Yeah, it's a 1v2. But again, the second player's quite hurt. One more nade in the same direction will make sure Yeta is being hurt to his knees. Oh, nade lops in quite close. The toss was there, but not really to perfection. Another nade from the side of Yeta Uta will take down Spike X so low. Phantom Esports so far, they're doing a great job keeping this fight in their favor. Another nade crawls in so close too. Chips out a lot of damage on the Spike. Now it's a one-on-one situation. Spike doesn't really have the HP favoring him though. We'll need to try and met himself up as Mad Max. Will he go for the res again? And so far it seems like he's going to do so. Spike X will heal himself up again. What's going on? The resurrections are just coming into place. Spike X will now finally make a push happen. Just trying to blind fire some shots as he's going to keep on moving in. He's quite exposed. Doesn't really have the cover to work with. And Phantom Esports will take an edge right there. As we talked about, this game really means a lot to Phantom. And they finally deliver it to the mark.
I mean, Phantom Esports, a phenomenal push in this particular match, securing the chicken dinner. 25 points as well with the 10 eliminations that they got from them for themselves. But Dax, I mean, Spike, he needed to ADS in that final fight. Had he taken down Mad Max, then it would have been easy for him to close out the game. Just one shot on Yeta and he would have been finished off, but still, nonetheless, a very nice performance from both these teams. And as we talked about, I mean, this was the match that they needed to win, but they need to do well in the next game as well, because these 2 teams are going to be struggling in the next Super Weekend. And Phantom Esports, they are not even qualified for the next Super Weekend, so this is going to be very important for them.
Oh man, Spike was just the final man, but man, Dax 2 needed that game, even though they have made it in the Super Weekend 3, but Dax, they're currently in 18th spot in the overall rankings, and Dax 2, They needed that desperately, and they actually deliver it to the occasion too. On the second spot in the overall rankings, Dax have currently found themselves in, and we talked about this, man. Boy, these two teams, they give it all they had. And what I wanted to see was Seal and Stalwart Esports just trying to spoil some teams' game. We did see Seal, though, just straight up just ramming their cars in the high voltage compound, but I'm not really sure if they knew that that was high voltage or not.
I mean, also along with that, I mean, we did talk about Dax quite a lot. We talked about Phantom Esports quite a lot. I think TRZ also needed this match, and we will talk about what the rankings are going to look like, but after this very short break. Once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the PMPL South Asia Spring Season of 2022, brought to you by the Oppo F21 Pro, which, by the way, we've been informed it's out in the market. So winner, grab yourselves the chicken dinner with the Oppo F21 Pro. I think after we are done with the matches, we and Necro are going to go out and try and see if we can get our hands on one of these.
Man, they're absolute beauties, huh? As you can see in the advertisement too. Just a slick design right there of the phone. I wish I had it, but again, as Johnny said, they're going to be out soon. They're not just yet. They will be out soon in the market. So I am waiting for them to pop out, and then I'm just going to instantly grab it. But let's take a look at the most valuable player. Let's find out who's going to be that lucky man. It's going to be a player from Dax. Spike again will show himself up in the most valuable player.
Well, definitely, and Spike, I mean, did do a lot for his team Dax in that final fight. Tried his level best to secure the winner chicken dinner for his team. But hey, I mean, still, at the end, points are all that matter. So even though the win wasn't there, the Phantom Esports lad took the win away from them. Still, I mean, the points are going to be enough for Dax. And considering, as you mentioned earlier, they were on the 18th position. Top 16 was really far away from them because High Voltage is there guarding the gate with previously, which was 86 points, and now I think it would have gone up because High Voltage also had pretty decent time in this match. Mad Max is going to be there in the list of top players, followed by Kazi. Stalwart Esports Chop is going to be there, even though the survival time is just 20 minutes. He was able to dish out a lot of damage.
Exactly. You take a look at stats comparison in front of us. This Phantom Esports, they're going to have 1290 damage on their name, and then on the other hand, Atrax will have 1982 damage wrapped up. Damage received, as you can see, Atrax, they're going to have a bit more. That means they were actually exposing themselves to try and take a lot of fights. And that in itself is also shown in the damage stats compared to Phantom Esports. And the Elims, though, the conversion's not really there on the side of Dax, but still something we can let it slip by.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it can slip by them, but still, I mean, the no regrets from this match. I think both the teams gave their level best. Looking at the match summary right now, Mad Max is going to be there with the highest eliminations, followed by Spike, Kazi, and Gyante with 3 eliminations on the 4th position in that list. Top is going to be there one way or the other. This time, in the highest damage dished out in the entire game. In 20 minutes, he dished out the highest damage in the lobby. Wow.
I mean, they indeed gave it all they have, right? They fought till tooth and nail, and they had no other choice. They needed to fight for this, and especially Phantom and Raw. They really needed these games. And Raw, too, kind of right there, delivering as well, but they need to do a bit more better in the upcoming games. As you do see, Raw in the third spot, they found themselves with 17 points in the pockets. But if you take a look at overall rankings, I'm pretty sure Raw, they're not going to be out of harm's way just yet. On the other hand, though, I'm not really sure about Phantom Esports. Are they going to be safe, Johnny? You think so?
I think so. I mean, they've managed to make their way into the top 8, and there is quite a lot of difference between them and the teams underneath. So I think Phantom Esports, they may survive. But what I'm worried about is one of the teams that is not performing because they failed to make it to the second week. It's Venom Legends, because their drop is going to be, well, it's going to keep on continuing. They have made it to the third week, so it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly where do they finish the league stages. But still, this was quite a match in front of us right now. And again, now we wait to see what the overall rankings are going to look like. We know Phantom Esports have made it to the top 8, but where is Dax going to be from the bottom of the leaderboard? Can they close in on the top 16? It's going to be very tough. I think it's close to impossible. But hey, I mean, there's hope, right?
There's always a glimmer of hope, right? And you always got to keep on hoping. As a human, hope is what keeps you alive. But moving on in, Johnny, man, was an absolute roller coaster of a game. But now in game 2, I want to see the top teams just target some of the teams that really need to qualify, that really need to do something in these final 2 games. But for now, let's take a look at the Oppo F21 Pro moments, and let's find out how things really kicked off in the previous Erangel game, because the upcoming map after this is going to be Sanhok, Johnny, and the aggression is going to be amped up even more.
I mean, definitely, there's going to be a lot of aggression in Sanhok. It's going to be it might just be a quick game, but talking about this matchup...
Wait, did he just knock his own teammate?
Yeah, the vehicle was going a little too fast, I guess. But still, I mean, they were completely isolated since we did not see an elimination that early in the match. So, pretty easy mistake to make. But still, on the other side, the TRZ, I mean, we did talk about them a little bit earlier on. And once again, I mean, even in these clips, TRZ, they look very confident right now.
Oh, they indeed do look really confident. Vibes right here, too. Take a look at these shots from Joker, man. Just was able to put so much pressure on the team in the front. And Deadeyes Guys, too, just trying to inflict a bit of hurt as well. Wipes, unfortunately, they weren't really able to survive for that long because the circle in the end, it was something that none of the teams expected. It's like you don't really have a lot of cover to work with. The only cover you can play with are those smokes, and maybe hopeful for the compounds that are left over. I mean, there were a couple of compounds, but there were a lot of teams to contest them.
I mean, definitely, and this match was specifically the final few fights were made a lot more interesting because of the fact that the zone was out in the open. Dax doing really well. They had a lot of utility to commit against the closing fight with Phantoms, but still, I mean, just the trades that Phantoms were able to find resulted in the sort of even situation being kept. And in the end, this 1v2, look at Spike. He's just going for the hip fire the entire time, not able to hit anything on the lads of Phantoms and Phantom Esports being very comfortable in those closing moments. But look at the damage numbers again. The late game action is always going to be quite intense, so we do see the high damage numbers even on the teams that were taken out quite earlier on in the match.
Exactly, and you talked about this even by the teams that were taken down quite earlier. And still, you do see right there, they got taken out quite early, but still, they had the pedal to the metal. They tried to make something happen in the lobby. Straight up breached on in through ElementriX's defense. Straight up tried to win in, but then they caught up against High Voltage. They were able to successfully take down High Voltage too, but they took a bit of casualties onto themselves in that fight. And then IC just came on along and they wiped out the existence of Seal. But man, things were indeed quite difficult for both these teams. And now I want to see, even though our main focus here is going to be on the latter half of the board, my eyes are going to be locked on Skylightz Gaming because they're currently in 9th spot, even though they have made it in the 3rd Super Weekend. But something that I'm really worried about is, why do they not need those $1,000? They only have one chicken dinner.
I mean, they are trying their level best to secure that money for themselves, but in a lobby like this, we all know it's not going to be easy for them. But again, I think Stalwart Esports, they can use this opportunity to close in the distance between them and Stalwart Esports, but the sort of shaky form that we saw from their side in the first day of the league play stages in week 3, it seems like they're back to the same old attitude, like, all right, we'll get to week 3 and we'll perform there. We're pretty sure we can take the first position away from them. So I think they're waiting for tomorrow. But as we move forward to the second page of the overall rankings, I think that is where a lot of the discussions are going to be pointed towards. I mean, the teams that were struggling earlier on, Phantom Esports, have found their way to safety. I think after the next game, if they perform in a similar manner, they can sort of end up in the top 6 and just be comfortable, because a 10 position drop in the final Super Weekend, even that is going to be quite hard to pull off.
Indeed, and you take a look at the latter half of the board. If we talked about Raw, they haven't really made it in the Super Weekend 3. So Raw 2, they're going to have an equal amount of pressure onto their heads. Then ElementriX, they have made it in the third. JyanMaara 2, they're quite safe for the third one. TRZ is one of those teams that haven't made it. And oh boy, I don't know what to expect. I mean, TRZ, they're currently in 15th spot. But there are teams like Avon Esports that are trying to close on in. And this, in the third Super Weekend, they have been looking really phenomenal. And it shouldn't really be that tough of a task for Avon Esports to even gather like 80 points in one Super Weekend.
Well, but let's see if that is actually going to work out for them. I mean, we will have to wait to see A1 Esports perform in the Super Weekend before we try and make our predictions. But ladies and gentlemen, the last game is all that remains. The map of Sanhok is what is left. And I mean, this particular day wasn't about those high elimination points. I mean, we do see 26-27 being the highest point secured in a single match from Savage Esports. And that means they got, what, like 12 extra eliminations in that match. I want to see one team go 16 plus in a single game. And it's going to be very exciting, though, I mean, if that happens.
Indeed, it's going to be quite exciting. But again, that hasn't really happened so far. And we want to see that happen. We don't exactly know what kind of things will make it happen, though, because now the map of Sanhok, which means the aggression is going to be amped up too. And we've been talking about the map of Sanhok, right? Just bringing in a couple of randomness factors with it. So how are Phantom Esports, or especially TRZ, one of those teams that is currently on the 15th spot, not really even making it in the Super Weekend Week 3, this game is going to mean their life and death. It's do or die situation for TRZ. If they don't perform, they're pretty much out the game.
I mean, definitely. If they fail to perform, they're pretty much out of the game, and it's going to be quite tough to watch as well. So a lot of pressure on them in this particular Sanhok, and Sanhok has never been easy. I want to see what Deadeyes Guys are going to be up to, though, because I expect them to collide against IHC in the early stages. That has been the case on this particular map. Towards the side of Hathin is where both the teams like to drop, and Deadeyes Guys, in a few matches, they've managed to survive when they try and go for a switch up in the drop location, but this time, what will they do? Will they try their luck again? Because they are also struggling. I mean, at one point, they were quite stable in the top 5, but the top 5 has been snatched away from them. And T2K, with every single game that they play, they seem to be moving further and further away from the grasp of Deadeyes Guys. This is their opportunity to close in on the distance, try and seal their spot within the top 5 again, going into the finals. But if they fail to do that, then the third week is there as well. So not a lot of pressure on the lads, but let's see what is going to happen in the matchup.
I mean, we'll only be able to find it out when the match will actually proceed, because so far it seems like the players are taking their sweet little time to get their mindsets, get their heads in, because Raw 2, one of those teams, I mean, I've been pressuring onto these teams way too much, I know, but you guys need to understand the pressure on these teams and these player itself. They're going to have a heap load of pressure. But talk about pressure, man. What is one of those things that makes you pressure a lot, chat? This is a question to the chat. What is one of those things that puts you in a lot of pressure? Johnny, what about you?
Exams. I was never too comfortable with exams. And yeah, but still I got through. I mean, just studying quite a lot, putting in a lot of hours. I think that's the only way I figured out I could just keep at par with the people who are actually scoring well, just like doing extra hours, because I struggle with understanding stuff, and like just learning, memorizing stuff is what I'm good at. But still, what about you though? What puts you under a lot of pressure?
When my mom, so my mom used to have this wooden scale, and when my mom used to run closer to that wooden scale, that used to put me under a lot of pressure, man. I would start running out of my house. I would just run away. I was like, man. I don't know.
But what did you do to put your mom in a situation like that? Bad grades?
Yeah. Lots of
bad grades and a lot of
gaming. A lot of bad grades. It's like I mean, at this point, a lot of people in the chat will relate to me when we talk about bad grades. Man, it's like my mom and dad were those typical typical mom and dads, which wanted their kid to have good grades. And if I did not really bring those good grades, then I am
I mean,
done.
so everyone's parents has a different sort of definition of what bad grades are according to them. In my
Okay.
house, it was anything under 85% was considered like horrible. So what was yours? What was the bottom line?
Okay, so my bottom line was same. I think so. Anything under 80 was like really
Yeah.
bad grades for my mom and dad. But then I still remember in my 9th standard, which is where I took things quite a little bit chill. I got 55 percentage, 55%.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I was, you can imagine, Johnny, like I
Yeah.
was almost dead, dude.
I
I'm
mean, you're
not
just
actually
testing
dead,
your
but-
parents' patient at that point.
Oh,
Like,
man, and then the next year in 10th standard, I got like 89, and they were happy. They were like,
yeah,
"Hey,
you
that's
learned your
my kid."
lesson. you only do stuff like that once, trust me. I mean, they make it seem like, yeah, you can't do this again, which is quite true, but let's see. I mean, the second opportunity was given to these lads because what we are discussing about the grades is a similar situation between the teams and their organization as far as the points in a match in a lobby like PMPL is considered, especially the Super Weekends, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, scales are not involved, but it's more of a professional thing right here. But Sanhok about to begin. We did see the player cams. Everyone's focused in on the game like the previous one, and there's the plane's trajectory. This time, well, starting from the southeastern side of the map, heading towards the Camp Alpha Island. So since it is Sanhok, this trajectory is considered quite standard and not a lot of trouble for any team to drop in on their desired drop location though. Apart from a few IHC, we do see them dropping out of the plane. Where are the lads from DE? They have decided to go towards, well, Tatmok and Cow position, not Hatin. Wow.
Interesting, though.
Interesting, yeah.
This plane flat path is quite good, but again, teams that do want to go towards Cow, we did see Deadeyes Guys and TRZ clashing over and over again, and that the clash is going to happen too. And oh, the circle this time is going to be shifting on the top left island. Oh my lord, this is going to be an interesting game. I'm telling you right now, I just can't wait for the ending. But yeah, Deadeyes Guys and TRZ, they're going to be locked in and loaded against each other too. Hopefully TRZ though, this time they've done their research.
Well, definitely. I mean, just using what felt like an abandoned position for them, but Deadeyes Guys dropping in on them in the early situation might be something that they are not prepared for. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how both the teams are dealing with this right now. Deadeyes Guys trying to go for a push. All right, behind the door, sitting with the DBS. Chari, he does not realize what he's running into, but Fardi, he just finds one knock. And Fardeen going for the second one as well. The DBS, it's doing numbers on the players of Deadeyes Guys. And finally, TRZ, they managed to find another one. Manish is going to be taken down, but TRZ, they do have the man advantage. Storm looking to push right now in that compound before his teammates are finished off and before the players of Deadeyes Guys are going to be back on their feet. One elimination has been secured already. Chari, the final surviving player, going into the back room to go for the heal. Storm looking to push. He's not too healthy though. TRZ, for a second, looked like they were about to win, but an unnecessary push from Storm is going to result in DE finding just bringing down the numbers to 1v1. Chari is burning alive, but he will survive to heal up again. Now Madcat, he's here with the UMP in his hands, and both the teams, they have decided to go for revives from their end, but it's still 2v3 that will happen later stages. Madcat, he's cooking up the nade.
Ooh.
Will it hit? Such a big opportunity. It does connect, but a little bit too late. One elimination secure, and it's a 2v2 now.
Yeah, but the amount of casualties taken on both these teams, that's something TRZ cannot afford.
Yeah.
TRZ really needs this game in their hands, and we talked about TRZ. I mean, they need a lot of eliminations to try and secure. At this point, we might as well just count them out, because Deadeyes Guys is one of those teams that's not going to like to get out of this spot just like that. They will at least try and inflict a bit more pain and hurt on these teams in the front. TRZ, too, they have no intentions of backing out so far. Madcat, he's quite healthy. He's also going to wrap up a bit more loot to try and support him. AKM in the hand. Is he going to try and amp up the aggression? That's what I want to know. That's something I want to find out. Because a lot of teams, they've already started to rotate on in on the other island, on the Hot Tin Island. But again, both these teams taking things slow. DBS reloaded too. Storm might just be looking to make the push happen. He's fully boosted as well, Johnny. Just waiting for the right call, just waiting for the right moment to strike. A little bit of retaliation fire. Shots missing. Shifu is now going to find himself in a bit of receiving end. TRZ trying to fight back, and now it seems like this is going to be it for them. Shifu, great move from this man.
Well, let's see how far away will they be able to get from this situation. Godless does hear the players of Phantom moving around in front of him, and I believe he has seen them with the way he's just holding his position behind this rock, waiting for his teammates to show up so that he's not caught off guard in this fight. And even though there's a little bit of distance between the two teams, it won't be an easy situation for them to deal with if Godless is caught off guard. But T2K Jane finding Sanchir, an instant knock and finish on the lads of Savage Esports. Eisenberg and Hershey, we do see them in the distance, but will they be able to get their revenge? I don't think so.
Talk about getting a revenge, though. Boy, Savage, T2K, Deadeyes Guys, right next to each other. And one of the players, T2K, is quite separated out. Godless, though, gets taken out right here. Is he going to get pushed on? Is he going to get pushed on? For now, he seems like he's a bit safe, but he was taking shots from the back lines. Oh, it's Stalwart Esports, just third-partying and spoiling the entire game for these teams. Phantom Esports, one of the players was taken out. It's Vexy in the water lines, and he is able to just try and swim his way through. It's going to be a bit tough to try and confirm that frag from the side of Stalwart. Maybe now they're going to do so, and that's what exactly happens. Stalwart, 2 easy elimination points for them with an entire fray of third party.
Well, but let's see. Stalwart Esports, as you mentioned, 2 eliminations have been secured. Can they secure more? They're looking to push towards the players of Phantom Esports, and it's not going to be an easy push. Pika, being the one leading the charge, does see Mad Max behind the window. Goes for a few shots, but Mad Max, he was inside the cover at that time, so none of the bullets connect. Action doing the same thing. They are putting that lad under a lot of pressure, but now they decide to fall back, realizing there's no way they can pick this fight. Phantom Esports have a perfect crossfire laid out to protect themselves in those huts.
Alex, there we go. IC now is going to find a great reply. A strong reply back to the players of Stalwart. A taste of their own medicine. Not really so. I mean, that was not really a third party, but in a one-on-one fight, IC able to win that duel. That's quite a big one, too. A great opening that IC needed to either back off or try and capitalize on this fight. But so far, IC now, their positions compromise some completely different team, and they're catching bullets from the other side. IC, they need to get out of harm's way as quick as possible, because if Stalwart, they are pissed, they will just keep the pedal to the metal. They're getting shot at all the way from the far fray. I see.
Well, he's
Right
out in
here.
the open.
Yeah.
No competition around, so I think he's going to be feeling quite comfortable. And slowly and steadily, as you mentioned a few moments earlier, the circle headed towards the Camp Alpha Island. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how the teams are thinking about crossing over to the other side.
Talk about thinking over, though. Dak so far, pretty good. On the edge of the circle. Haven't really found that great of a spot, but what I'm really worried about is going to be Savage, Deadeyes Guys, and then TDK. Those 3 teams right next to each other. And Savage have already gotten a knock onto themselves. One of the players of Savages went down. Are they going to go for an instant rest, though? Because we do see the players of TDK closing on in slowly and steadily. And they're getting quite close. This is way too close for comfort. But they want to push straight into their comfort zone, and that's what TDK, they're trying to do. So, getting real up close and personal now. Sundesh just trying to shoot it out, just trying to take out the final man of Savage, and within a blink of an eye, it's the entire squad of Savage wiped out of the existence.
Well, let's see. Another team biting the dust in the early stages of the game. 8 minutes in, and well, I see constantly jump peeking on the players of JyanMaara. Finally, I believe no fear has been spurred out, but I see he is a little bit further away from his teammates, so he's waiting for an opportunity or waiting for them to close in. Right now, I think the call out has been made from the lads of IHC that they're just playing for information. No aggression being displayed from their side in the early stages of the match. It's quite interesting.
Oh boy, look at him. Just running out in the open. Snipe! That's something you do not want to do. Oh, he will be caught. Instant confirmation to follow it up. IHC, you cannot let these frags get away to IHC. Because this is one of those teams that feeds on the enemy fear. And if you give them frags like that, then they know you're going to be feared even more. And IHC will keep on just feeding on your souls.
Well, definitely. And I think, again, as you mentioned, as you screamed, I mean, it wasn't a good decision to run out in the open like that. But IHC, I think patience from IC, it paid off quite nicely. Because he wasn't giving a lot of footstep as well. He was just using the free look mode to keep a vision on the other side of the rock. And he was able to do that quite nicely. Yep. It's dropping again and again.
Damn. It's the multiverse.
Yeah. Just a time loop.
Someone
Stuck
calling
on the
Doctor
airdrop,
Strange.
yeah.
We need to stop this.
I don't think he's listening anymore. Dealing with Spider-Man is quite a lot.
Hey, I forgot I'm the Spider Strange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Deadeyes Guys, take a look at the rotation now. They do realize they don't really have the manpower to try and fight for their spot, so they're just going to try to rotate all the way in the outskirts, get a better spot for themselves inside the other island. JyanMaara is going to be there too. High voltage on the hilltop, getting a great position. Deadeyes Guys with two players here. And yeah, look at him. Just in a jet ski, two friends having a great time. Johnny, that could be us.
We need to get a jet ski first, though. It's quite expensive.
That's going to cost my entire bank account.
Yeah.
I mean, plus not even that. Even though
we don't live anywhere near an ocean, man.
You sure about that?
I mean, yeah, we can't ride a jet ski on top of that ocean.
I mean, okay. I did not even say anything.
But, yeah, I think getting a jet ski for us is not going to be a good thing. But talking about the game, though, 50 players, 14 teams still surviving. ElementriX quite close to the players of Stalwart Esports. So if they decide to abandon this spot, or more precisely, if they are forced to abandon this spot on the riverfront, then it's going to be quite deadly to them. And look at Susan. Oh, through the broken wall, I believe he has seen the player from IHC.
Oh, he's got his eyes locked onto him without a doubt. And Baron, too, right here in the front. The entire squad of ElementriX. And it's just a solo, cute little man, Baron. There are the rest of his teammates, though, but Seal, they're spread out quite a lot. And how are they going to try and initiate this fight? There we go. That's how they are. An easy opening from the side of Demo. Now the rest of the ElementriX players are going to be quite unsettled, and you are going to probably see the panic and the paranoia set in. In Cuss 2 will get a nice retaliation fire. A great reply from the side of ElementriX.
Well, but let's see how far can they push it. It's not going to be easy. Saucy has been taken down. Incus and Orange remaining. We see Orange going for a dive into the water, trying to survive. Saucy is going to be finished off by Demo. And Incus is not far away. He was holding on to the shoreline. So Stalwart Esports, they will have an opportunity to go for a hunt, but Incus, he has been spotted out. Leo going for a spray, will dish out a lot of damage and almost. Oh, he does find the knock. Now this is going to be an easy finish for Stalwart Esports to secure, and ElementriX, they're so close to being eliminated in this match.
Yep, Incus still knocked out. Man, Johnny, sus. It's not really sus. Sus likes to call himself Sus.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I keep forgetting, but
Sus.
We'll fix it by tomorrow. Sus.
Sus. It's quite Sus. But yeah. Incus will be taken down. I'm not going to lie, I also keep on calling him Sus. I mean, and then after I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to call himself Sus.
I think we should just start calling him by his name, Sushant. That's going to be much easier for us.
Or maybe you can just say ElementriX.
Yeah, that usually refers to the entire team. Is Demo sitting on his dinosaur?
Is he? Wait,
Yeah,
he
I
has a
think he's-
dinosaur?
Yeah, a baby dinosaur. You know.
Oh, that's a Godzilla,
Oh, that's
not
his
dinosaur.
back. That's his back. I thought it's backpack. Oh
What is
man.
that? Wait, he's having a great chat with his little pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pet robot. Oh, Oh, whoa. That's a little too close, but I just realized that lad was knocked out. So JyanMaara, they are down to the final two players. Oh man, JyanMaara are not having a fun game. They're not having a good game this time. IHC just keeps giving them a lot of trouble and no fear. Look at them closing in on their teammate on top of the hill, but we'll talk about that later as Dax have come under fire from the lads of Stalwart Esports. They're trying to push in towards bootcamp and will not push in exactly. They want to cross the river, get to the other side as the circle has finally shifted, ladies and gentlemen, towards the bridge. The Ruins Bridge is where the circle is headed.
Oh
And
my
Duel
God.
with the DBS.
Again.
JyanMaara, they're almost done. No Fear is the last surviving player, and DBS at that range is going to be quite deadly. Plus, the damage from the Molotov is going to eat him alive, and that's it. JyanMaara have been eliminated from the match as well.
Yeah, the final match just going to fall on top of the flames, and now Stalwart taking an exit from this fight too. By exit, I don't mean like from the lobby, but just from that fight, just trying to disengage. No intentions of actually making the fight happen. DR is currently in a great spot inside the next zone. The next zone is going to be shifting right underneath Camp Alpha near the bridge. The bridge is also going to be there. But I'm pretty sure none of those teams would want to play on the bridge because you're going to be exposed from a lot of angles, and you don't really want to be one of those teams who will get shot from every single point of view. So, yeah, might as well want to take things a bit slow. Baron with a great off angle! Try to fight for the second man, too. Wasn't really able to sneak away with another one. Leo, this nade might just be an instrumental one. Cooks in the nade to almost perfection. Does exactly know where Mullik is. Lobs in that nade inside the shack. Mullik's taken down solo. Barely on a sliver of health. Or actually, the health is not even visible. He has boosted himself up, so that's why we do see a bit of sliver of his health right there. Mullik now straight up going to try and challenge a fight against Leo. You sure about this, my man? You don't even actually have the HP to back yourself up. But there you go, Vibes. They played so well. Mullik did enough amount of distraction just to wait till Joker's going to just try and jump on in on the other side of the wall.
Well, let's see if it is going to work out for them. Vibes, they are being extremely careful right now. They have to be. They're going to be under a lot of pressure from Raw Esports, Phantom Esports. Although, look at where Orange from ElementriX is. Decide to go for a dive, I believe. Vibes, Ryu going for a spray on the lads of Phantom underneath the bridge. Does dish out a little bit of damage onto Yeta, but will not be able to find the complete knock.
Will not be able to. And Ryu to RGR. Oh, no. He caught a bullet right on his head right there. And then a great tracking from the players of Skylightz Gaming as one of the players from Stalwart has went down. It's Cry who's now going to hit the deck. Big body right there. And Stalwart, they would want to make sure that Cry is going to be back up on his feet. But the way he's getting ticked out, it's just a bit too much. Top, look at the amount of info he's gathering right here from this spot. And the amount of control, too, is getting... It's quite insane. Skylightz Gaming, you better watch out for a player like Top because this man is currently top in the charts, even in the elimination leaderboards. And this man is capable of wonders, so you do not want to give this man an easy opening. If you do, he's just going to try and rip you apart from that little opening.
Well, but let's see action right now along with Top. They're keeping an eye on the lads of Skylightz Gaming who have gotten quite close to them. Can't even afford to move a single step. Well, Skylightz Gaming as well. I mean, it looked like they're not looking in their direction, but I believe action running around has, in fact... Oh, maybe they miss it. They are also focused in on their rotation. Just 15 seconds left, 400 meters to go to get inside the zone. This won't be easy. Plus, it's going to be the 5th circle, so a lot of damage we'll have to deal with. Nima going for shots from the flank. Kazi taking a lot of damage, but Nemesis is going to be there. With his good reaction times, just managed to trade out a little bit of damage, taking, well, forcing Nima to back off, but from the distance, Assault finding one knock after the other. First Mr. Boro, then Mafia Ninja. Now Gyalzin is going to come under some fire from this lad as he goes for the tap shots from the M4. But no finishes.
No finishes indeed. And now look at Skylightz Gaming top! Oh, you do not peek out in the open like that, especially against a man like Yeltsin. Easily able to shut him down top. A big man follows it up too. That's a mammoth-like man just going down top now. Look at the rest of the players at Stalwart, just straight up booking on in towards top, making sure they're getting the confirmation through. If top gets back on his feet, he's gonna cause an absolute menace in the lobby. And you want to make sure, a man like top, the threat is being eliminated as early as possible out from the lobby. Action spotted out too. Phantom Esports, instead, they catch a couple of return bullets at Skylightz Gaming.
So again, I mean, I just want to mention this, that even for Sanhok, this game is very controlled and very, very stagnant. I mean, we are not seeing that usual Sanhok chaos at this point as well, even though we are at the 20-minute marker, still 11 teams, 31 players surviving. And it's just a small little mini fights that keep on happening where a lot of the teams have lost their individuals, but let's see, Raw Esports, could they be next, as Wexy from the side of Phantom Esports was finished off earlier. Mad Max is knocked down. Harame is taking a lot of damage as well, so he's going to be knocked out next. And Yeta could be the last player standing for his team, but that's not the case, as even he backs off. ElementriX Orange, oh, he could be spotted out. And in fact, for now at least, he's inside the zone, but will the situation be the same in the next few seconds, or will they have to make a run for the shorelines, as Orange will now share his position with Rig?
And Phantom Esports are still alive in the game. With the final man up too, he would want to make sure that he's at least, taking things as slow as possible and getting those placement points for his team. And we've currently found a group of friends, which are not really from the same group, but still, it's okay. They have managed to convert one of the other players from other group into their group, so that's a nice conversion. But Raw, they're just going to spot out so many fishes in the barrel, and now they're trying to take him out one after the other, as Rig is in the front, moving on in, just jiggling around. He wants to close in a bit of distance, trying to get a bit up close and personal. Malik exposes, but he got shot at by DRS all the way on the far fray. And oh my god, the Yam is just going to get a confirmation.
Well, but let's see. 9 teams remain, 23 players still alive. Wipes, they are so close to getting eliminated. Rules with the Orm in his hands can, in fact, well, become basically, again, Grim Reaper for a lot of these teams. And I believe he's just waiting for the players of Raw to expose themselves. Oh, Kazi is going to be spotted out. Will Rules connect, fires the shot and misses the mark, but will go for another one. And in the meantime, though, ElementriX's last surviving player takes down Kazi. Rules going for the elimination secure with the help of the Orm. Yeah, quite an easy steal for him, but still, Orange, oh, he's been finally shut down. We're down to the top 5 teams, 15 players still alive.
And now Rules from the top is just being the Overwatch. The king of the hill too, Assassin, but he's still going to try and move on in out in the open. Even though he was in the open, all the odds were stacked against Assassin. He's still able to make it back to safety. Man, this man's skilled. High voltage, though, they're going to have a lot of voltage to try and deal with. A bit too much for them to handle, maybe. But there we go. That's a nice reply from the side of high voltage. TDK, when other players gets taken down, Siog now is going to try to get the Reds up on the Legend. Assassin taking things slow behind this little rock. TDK as well. They have no other option than to let high voltage have their own comfort zone. But Rules might just be the spoiler.
Well, let's see. Can ruin the mood for a lot of these teams, who, especially with the Orm being in his hands. I mean, do you see the replay picking up those elimination points from the other squads that are getting those knocks? But it's a complete 4v4v4 between T2K, DRS, and High Voltage. And I think High Voltage are going to be quite desperate for this, since they were barely managing to be in the top 16, having missed out on the first Super Weekend. Not in a really good position, but Prabeen, his intentions are quite clear. They want to go for the players of T2K, and who have lost Jane, so it's already a team that is bleeding out. But High Voltage on the other side have also taken a lot of damage from Rules and the players of DRS, losing out on 3 players. Assassin is going to be the last player surviving. Rules with the Molotov is going to look to finish him off, but no, Assassin falls down in front of T2K. And well, with that, High Voltage are going to be out of the pitch. It's between DRS and T2K, and T2K have lost a lot of players. DRS pretty much securing the chicken dinner already, as it's Siog, the last player surviving. against the entirety. It's a 1v4 for the man to clutch out, and I don't think it's going to happen. So DRS, they will just look for an opportunity to close out this game. Sanhok taking a lot of damage. 1v2 killer from the air will just seal the deal finally. And ladies and gentlemen, DRS, $1,000 are coming your way.
Oh man, $1,000 and also a great placement in the overall. I mean, DRS was, I think so, in the latter half of the board, but now after that game, they've made themselves shown up in the top 7 of the overall rankings with 10 elimination points and then 25 points in total to wrap it up with damage number of 1,400, Johnny. Man, some big stats from this team and also a great chicken dinner. Well deserved, but again, something that I'm really going to be eyeing out for are the teams that were sitting out. For example, Raw Esports, they were one of those teams, or they are one of those teams that haven't really made it in the Super Weekend 3, including Phantom. I think so Phantom, they are going to be out of harm's way.
Yeah.
But still, just to get a confirmation, I want to take a look at the overall rankings, and man, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot of ups and downs there.
I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be quite important to see where do Phantom Esports and Raw Esports end up after this particular match. I think Phantoms are still pretty much comfortable. Raw is the team who will have to figure out exactly how the third week is going to go for them. I think not figure out, but just wait and watch what the third week is going to be like for them. Phantom Esports, I think with the previous match, they were in the top 10. This game did not really go their way, but still, they will still remain in the top 10. So not a lot to worry about. But high voltage on the other side, this was very important. High voltage, by the way, they were sitting on the 16th position with just 86 points. So it's going to be quite interesting to see where do they go with their final push. But hey, I mean, we're going to be looking at the stats and the overall rankings, but after this very short break. Man, I have to say the graphics, the electronic version of the PUBG Mobile theme, everything in that video is very, very entertaining and exciting to watch. But ladies and gentlemen, you know what's even more exciting? The ending to today's 2 rematches that are going to be there. This is Super Johnny, by the way. That's Necro, and welcome once again to the PMPL South Asia Spring Season of 2022, brought to you by the Oppo F21 Pro, of course. And we are done with our day's matches already, Necro. Just 2 games were there. We are done with the Erangel and the Sanhok. So I guess it's time to move forward and have a look at the stats.
Yeah, exactly. As we take a look at the stats too, I'm pretty sure we're going to be taking a look at the most valuable player of the previous game. But more than that, as I said, there's going to be a lot of hype around the final overall rankings because after this Super Weekend, we're going to move it on into the third Super Weekend immediately because we just went through the league plays yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite interesting. Let's take a look at the MVP and let's find out who's going to be the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, as some people like to call him, who was able to perform pretty well in that previous game because I saw Rules. He was able to pop some heads with that AWM. Is he going to be there? Yes, he is! Man, what a prediction.
I mean, the AWM action definitely does bring Rules as, well, put him, in fact, as the MVP of this game. 790 damage dished out, 5 eliminations secured, 1 assist, and just 4 knocks. And also, I mean, he was picking up a few eliminations from the other people's knocks as well, so that's going to be there as well. Plus, DRS, I think this second dinner win was quite exciting to witness from their end as well. I think in the earlier days, we were seeing DRS kind of struggle just a little bit, and I think now finally DRS might be able to bring themselves to the old form that we have seen from the lineup. Even though it's a different lineup right now, I think the pressure that's there on these lads that are playing under this new the new DRS that's there is of the fact that they need to live up to the legacy and the expectations that are there from the fans every single time they hear the name DRS. But looking at the rest of the list of the top players, all right, so it's quite red as 3 lads from T2K squad are going to be here. Sandesh, Legend, and Suyog, with all securing 4 eliminations each.
Oh boy, 4 eliminations each, and man, TDK, it seems like they were able to do quite well. Deadeyes Guys, we did see them, I mean, take out almost, I mean, pretty much the entirety of TRZ, and then later on, they were just down to a 2-man squad, and for now, I think so they were able to survive for a decent amount of time in the previous game of Sanhok. As we take a look at the stats comparison between DRS and Trying to Kill, and of course DRS, they're going to find themselves in a bit of an edge, or no, as we scratch that, TDK, they're going to find themselves in a bit of an edge because you take a look at the damage number, 1962 damage, and then 13 elimination points. Trying to Kill, they went Hab. The aggression was the name of the game for TDK.
I mean, definitely, as you mentioned, the aggression, just going for those fights was their game plan in the match's entirety. And look at that, 1962 damage dished out. But DRS, I feel like they look a little bit more aggressive. Not aggressive, but impressive if you compare the damage dealt to the damage received ratio right there. Because 1400 dished out, just 300 taken. I'll take that trade any day of the year, month, whatever you want to for DRS, and again, it was majority of it was working out because of this man, Rules.
Talk about Rules, man. Boy, oh boy. With the damage numbers too to wrap it up, 790 damage dished out from this man, and then highest assist to 3 assists, and then Sandesh is also going to find himself in the longest distance elimination.
Well, longest distance elimination, 240 meters.
Yeah, not really that long, you know?
Yeah.
Not really used to, because so far in the entire PMPL, if I'm not wrong, we haven't seen a single elimination beneath like 300 meters.
I think we've seen quite a few, but even they were like 280, 290, somewhere around that.
They were like
quite close
really,
to 300,
really
yeah.
Close, yeah. We haven't really seen something getting that close,
Yeah,
but
sub 250, I think that is where we kind of lag. But again, to be fair, Necro, it was Sanhok. The map isn't that big.
Oh man, now I take a look at the match rankings though. High Voltage as well is one of those teams that every single game is going to be counting for them. The clock's ticking for High Voltage, and even Dax, and they need to perform because Dax in the previous game, man, they got taken out quite early. Something that they did not really anticipate coming their way. Phantom Esports too, one of those teams I expected, or at least I had huge expectations from this team. They weren't really able to deliver up to the mark.
I mean, it's quite an unfortunate series of events for them as far as this game is considered, but still, I mean, hope is going to be there for the team. And also, we still are waiting for the overall rankings, ladies and gentlemen, which I think is definitely be quite interesting. I mean, a little bit of a comparison will definitely be done by us based on what the rankings were before. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes. I think Phantom Esports were already doing well in week 2, so they have just moved up, so they've improved upon their performance. But let's see. I mean, it's going to be quite exciting to see, once again, relive the moments of this game as we will have the Team Part 2 zone, ladies and gentlemen, for DRS.
Oh, and take a look at that, right? DRS, they dropped kind of like a split between Sami and Nakam. One thing I'm telling you right now, if you want to wrap up a lot of first aids and a lot of meds, and if you even want to go for a potential heal strat, these two places are one of those places that is surrounded by so many much more like smaller compounds. And usually this is on the edge of the map too, so it being contested, the chances are quite low. So I feel like these places are the best places to find yourself meds in.
I mean, definitely, as you said, I mean, just starting off in those isolated spots, I think specifically on Sanhok does allow you a lot of breathing room in the early stages. That gives you the opportunity to just stay calm and think exactly how do you want to progress based on where the circle is. DRS, the only risk that they took, which I think could have backfired, was just using the water to rotate from Tambang to the Camp Alpha Island. Had someone else been on the other side, close to the compounds that are right next to the bridge, I think DRS could have been in a world of trouble. But hey, it doesn't matter. The team survived, they made it to the other side, and that's all that they wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the end too, they just had a bit much more dominating position in the entire final zone. High ground to play with, compound right underneath them, which was contested by high voltage if I'm not wrong. But still, in the end, having the dominating position overall, also to end things on a high ground, Johnny, that's something that's really needed.
Exactly. I mean, it just makes the situation, the fights a lot more easier for you to deal with. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward, have a look at the Oppo F21 Pro moments of this particular match. And this, I mean, I loved what Fardeen was able to pull off in this fight with nothing but a DBS in his hands.
Exactly. DBS, man, I'm not going to lie. At this point, you can't even just say just a DBS now. It's an understatement, man. DBS is a monstrous weapon, and
it's like a battering ram hitting your chest.
Yeah, it has the capability to just like blow the entire squad into just like some pieces, dude. DBS is an absolute shredder, and you never want to start in front of it. DBS and Groza are two of the guns that I fear the most. What about you?
The only difference being, I mean, for the Groza, you have to get to the airdrop. For the DBS, not anymore.
Yeah, you can find it on the ground.
Earlier on, I think DBS being switched up to the normal weapon, I think me and Ocean were having this conversation. We had this conversation almost a while ago when the gun was introduced, that even though it's an auto shotgun, I mean, just the fact that it was in the airdrop was like the thing that was making it, well, one of the least used weapons in the game.
Yeah, underused.
But still, I mean, now since it does spawn normally, I think it's become a lot more reliable, not reliable, but a lot more viable option for the lads, since every single time you go for an airdrop, you are running towards a beacon that's attracting a lot of attention, and it needs to be worth your time. But talking about worth his time, I think we are going to see the final few closing moments, and Killer with the superhero moment right there. Look at him go off. Woo!
Elaborating more on that DBS, right? I mean, you still do see it quite underused, right?
Yeah.
And it's more kind of like if you're going to be fighting that DBS in the upcoming or in the early stages of the game where you know your drop spot is being contested by a team, that's the only time most of the players prefer that DBS in the close range. But then later on in the longer run, players tend to drop the DBS and pick up something else. I mean, currently the secondary weapon or the best secondary weapon has to be UMP, and a lot of teams would like to go with the UMP. But then if you're an absolute psychomaniac like Xiao from the side of IC, then you would just stick to a DBS and keep on shredding the lobby even then. But take a look at the damage graph in front of us. 10 elimination points from DRS with 1,400 damage wrapped up, and then 13 kills from the side of TDK with 1,962 damage wrapped up.
I think, again, I have to mention this. I know the people are going to be quite tired with this, but I have to say this, that if we talk about DBS, there's a man called Aito-chan who's an absolute legend. You guys need to watch the PMGC 2021 performance, 2020 performance from the lad. I mean, he was just a killer with that weapon. But, ladies and gentlemen, the overall rankings in front of us, and all right, Necro, so Savage Esports and Phantom Esports are still quite comfortable. Phantom Esports is at least 200-point marker has been crossed.
200 points marker crossed. And then, again, I don't know if Phantom Esports are going to be safe, even though, man, maybe, okay, yeah, you know what, Johnny, I give it a pass. I think the Phantom Esports are safe because on the latter half of the board, I
Yeah.
just want to take a look at the latter half of the board and find out
Same.
how things are looking like. Because now
Here
you
we
see
go.
here Raw, right? 196 points. I think so even Raw they've qualified at this point. Maybe the only teams that are going to be on the verge of elimination potentially can be
Yeah.
ElementriX, JyanMaara, and TRZ. I mean, they're right there too. But High Voltage, they've made it to the third Super Weekend, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah, I
they
mean,
don't have to worry.
so 1952 are already out. They haven't qualified for the third Super Weekend.
Oh, yeah,
Along
they're
with
out.
them, I think TRZ, they're going to take a drop because 91 points. High Voltage will cross them over in the very first game tomorrow. So the TRZ, they're going to be there on the top 16 for at least the first day, I believe, if things go well. But I don't think they're going to survive the Super Weekend. Phantoms is in the best position right now out of the teams that haven't qualified. I think Phantoms, they have the best spot for themselves, and they're not going to be playing. So they miss out on the opportunity to secure the $1,000 for the winner chicken dinner win. But still, I think it's quite a decent run that they've had during the league stages, and I think they can start preparing for the finals. But look at the elimination leaders, the top 5, all the Mongolian heroes, the Titans are going to be here, and Top has stolen the lead from Action, and he's 7 eliminations ahead, 98 on Top and just 91 on Action.
You know what I want to find out? What A1 Esports are they going to be able to pull off in the final
yeah.
Super Weekend? They will have 3 days, 15 games in their hands, Johnny. What can they make happen in those 15 games? Are they going to be able to be consistent enough to make it to the top 10? Or are A1 Esports just going to fall down and disappoint every single fan in the region? We'll only be able to find out in the third Super Weekend. As I said, 3
Yeah.
days, 15 games still in their hands, and all they need is top 16, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't sound that hard, but trust me, the lobby is going to be even tougher than
Yeah.
ever.
I think this cutoff is somewhere, the cutoff for the Super Weekend qualification, it's going to fall somewhere around 150 points or something. And I think that is something that A1 Esports need to achieve in the 15 matches that they have. So it's like a 10-point per game average, and they can't afford to miss out on a single game if they want to make this happen. And even then, it's going to be up for a toss. But I think A1 Esports, the struggle was there in the first 2 weeks. Third week, they looked very strong during the league play days. But Super Weekends, they are a totally different deal. Totally different set of monsters you have to deal with when you step into the Super Weekend matches. I mean, every single team just takes their gameplay level to a whole another level, ladies and gentlemen. But you don't have to wait a lot for this action to commence, because it's going to be beginning tomorrow. And you guys know, I mean, what you have to do now, right? You guys have to subscribe to the official channels, follow PUBG Mobile Esports on the official social handles as well, so that you are constantly updated if stuff like this happens again in the future, ladies and gentlemen, if the matches are supposed to be redone, because all that information is going to be available through our socials. And if you guys like the work, I mean, Necro has been crushing on the chat these past couple of days quite a lot. So you guys can hit us with a follow on our socials, which are going to be right here and right there. And also a huge shout out to the Oppo F21 Pro, ladies and gentlemen, which, let me remind you, is out in the market soon. We're going to be heading to check out the device. You guys do that as well, so that you can grab yourselves the winner chicken dinner with the Oppo F21 Pro. That's all from our end today. Until tomorrow, take care. Good night.
I'm the real, real deal. I'm the real, real deal. Ignition, it's a bang. You know my name. I'll be your everything. I'll be your hot flame.
go.